$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. The statement says $5,000. It's been out there for years. One step forward, and they're totally aware of it. They have to keep saying no one ever calls them a liar. What is that? So no one's ever challenged them. What's that? They're aware of it. So you know they're lying. So you know they're lying. And if you want to be sure, just send them a link. See, keep saying it. It doesn't matter. One of the people that's going to believe them is people that's doomed to hell anyway. We're not after them. We have to separate the saints from them. The people that seek in the message of the covenant, which they never mention. So we're going to get to that in a minute. This is part 2, brothers and sisters. Part 1 was yesterday. Part 2 is today. And today we're going to get into, yesterday was Adam. And I'm going to update a little bit on what I said about Adam. Try to make it a little clearer. Right? But this one is about weapons of war. I plan that this series will last an entire week. Forbidding any distractions and technical issues that I've been having lately. Okay, so again, here it is. Right there, bro. Just I'm gonna give you $5,000. If you claiming that he's the one, he's the Messiah, he's telling the truth, he's representing Elijah Muhammad, then why don't you step forward? Give a contact number or something. Step forward and collect your $5,000. It's a win-win for you. Because if I don't pay up, that means that exposes me as being a liar like him. And if you, like I said, if you show up and you pay, and you show up and you got the proof, shut me down. See? And if you had a proof, you get $5,000. Win-win. Why hasn't anybody stepped up? Why hasn't anyone stepped up? They'll call me and say, hey, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, but they don't step forward to make the challenge. Why? It's right there, it's open. Move on, brothers and sisters.
Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as $5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings. Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
See, brothers and sisters, they're in open error. So if you're deceived by them, that's because you want to be. Because they do it all the time. They claim the Quran is inviolable. I mean, it's perfect, pure. No errors in it. That's just quoting the Quran there. They do it all the time. They never mention the Messenger of Covenant. They never mention, they read about Abram's seed being a stranger, that we're over here 400 years. But the next verse says that God gives his word, covenant is his absolute word, that after that 400 years, we return home and tell you exactly where it is. They don't read that part. So they call God a liar, right? They're fuel for the fire. You know, just right there. You can't go wrong right there. So if you still with him, that means you're here because you're either a demon or you're stupid. You don't give a damn. You don't believe in the truth, because it said those with son of perdition, they had no love for the truth. So God gave strong delusions, because that right there, that statement right there is enough to expose him who he is, expose them. Because they believe in part of the book and disbelieve in the other. It said right there, they quote that. Oh, you're going to be a stranger on land not yours. 400 years. Afflicted in servitude. But after 20 years, they leave that part off. So they believe part, and then they go further than that. They call God a liar. Say, well, you ain't going. God said, after 40 years, my covenant, my word, you are return home. We ain't going nowhere. Right there. So either throw the whole Bible away, because if you believe, if you're going to accept the Bible, then you got to accept it all. And the Quran says you got to accept the Bible too. So right there, you know, it's easy to destroy them. Just that right there, that exposed him right there. Because he called God a liar. He said, we're not going anywhere. Right there. That's case closed. That's just, that's kindergarten stuff. I mean, I go on. I mean, what about Aaron? Aaron? Did you ever read about Aaron? What he did in the Moses absence? Move on, brothers and sisters. But it says in Malachi, where Elijah's mentioned, that this one will suddenly come to this temple. They call him messenger of the covenant. But he denies the covenant. He said, ain't no covenant. Remember, he's the messenger of the covenant. What's the covenant? The covenant is God's word. He says, this day I made a covenant with you. He's confirming that message. But Farrakhan said that message is a lie. He's not confirming that message. So he's not the messenger of the covenant. In fact, he denies the covenant. In fact, he's calling God a liar. Right there. Case closed. Case closed. Right there. Let's move on.
Section 1, Fundamental Principles of Islam. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. 1. I, Allah, am the best knower. 2. This book, there is no doubt in it, is a guide to those who keep their duty. 3. Who believe in the unseen and keep up prayer and spend out of what we have given them. 4. And who believe in that which has been revealed to thee and that which was revealed before thee, and of the hereafter they are sure.
Again, brothers and sisters, that's Allah speaking. I'm the best knower. There's no doubt in this, that you got to believe in the Quran, this book, and the book before, the Bible. They say you got to be part of it, you got to believe in it. And before they said you can't be part of this, being the other. That's case closed right there. That's case closed right there. That's just throwing Farrakhan right there. So if you still with him, that means you're a demon, or you're on emotional grounds, because you're not there on, you're not there on mind, you know, excuse me. You're not there on because of reason, right? Because all you gotta do is read the book. You don't read it. Right there, it's just right there. Because you ain't there because, hey, intellectual grounds. You're not there because of that. You're there because, oh, he's cute. I like him. My friends are there. My mom was there. My daddy was there. You're not there because of any of that. I mean, that's what you're there for. You're not there for intellectual reasons. Because you read the scripture and say what scripture says. Because if you just read overview of Exodus, you would not be there. So the reason for you're there, and you stay there. Now we know there's something there that's not with him, because it says, right? They was there because they knew that's where the message of the covenant would show up at. But it says he was suddenly come to this temple, the message of the covenant. And so when the time came, they would separate out from him. So because that's what says Moses came and said, "Those with the Lord," right? So they wasn't with Farrakhan. They were just there, waiting, seeking. But the rest of them. So we're not speaking to you. We're not trying to convince you. We're not trying to convert you. In fact, we want you to stay right there where you are. So it'll be easy for us to separate you out. We don't want you. We want your money and ask for a dime. These people here ask for money. Why do they ask for money? It's supposed to be a free gift. Everybody's coming every kind of way you're going for. So, hey, if you're caught up in that, stay caught up in it. Somebody think that we're trying to, no, we're not trying to save you. We're trying to separate you out. Remember that separation between chaff and the wheat? He didn't come to save the chaff. He came to separate out from the wheat. You got it all wrong. He came, and who? He needs something to attract the chaff. Right? Because if you got wolves in sheep clothing, right, you can't send a sheep to track the wolves out. You got to send another wolf to track to see that. Because the wolf they're gonna hear the other wolf. You're gonna have to send a wolf. Right? Separate the wolves out from the sheep. Or on the other side, the sheep to separate. You have to send the sheep, separate the sheep out. Either way. We send a wolf to separate the wolves out. So Farrakhan's the wolf. Separate, because he's drawing all those to him. So let's move on, brothers and sisters.
$174. Those who conceal aught of the book that Allah has revealed and take for it a small price, they eat nothing but fire into their bellies, and Allah will not speak to them on the day of resurrection, nor will he purify them, and for them is a painful chastisement. 175. Those are they who buy error for guidance and chastisement for forgiveness. How bold they are to challenge the fire. 176. That is because Allah has revealed the book with truth. And surely those who disagree about the book go far in opposition.
Again, these Quranic verses. Right? And they conceal, yes. They don't talk about the messenger of the covenant. You ever heard talk about it? It's right there in Malachi. They talk about Elijah part. They conceal that part about the messenger of the covenant. Never talk about it, ever. They conceal it. Why? And then the messenger of the covenant, right? Then the covenant that he's the messenger of, right? But they say he's like, well, Elijah's last messenger. That's not what that says right there. It says the messenger of the covenant will come to his temple. Right? So he's a messenger of the covenant. So he's not the last one, the one to come. And even in Exodus, Elijah wasn't the last one. It said Joshua took over and took everybody to the promised land. They're all alive. Well, they concealed it because that's not what it says there. If then you go over to the covenant, with Abraham covenant, messenger of the covenant, right? We'll see what the covenant is. If you're the messenger of the covenant, let's find what the covenant is. They conceal that. In fact, they even not only conceal it, right? But they burn up because they say it's a lie. They call it a lie. That's a lie's word there. After 20 years, they will return, right, there and tell you exactly where it is between the river Euphrates and river Egypt. And they say, no, that's a goddamn lie. God's a liar. You ain't going nowhere. So, that right there is enough to convince Ray Charles. He dead. He just rolled over on that one. So that's how we know who you are. Because it says those who they love not the truth. That's what it says. Son of perdition. They didn't love the truth. They was following him. And so God didn't want him. He didn't try to convince him. He said he gave him more delusions. They like that. You like falsehood. He gave him a lot more. You get it all wrong. He didn't try to straighten you out. Read Son of perdition. You didn't love the truth, so he didn't. He gave more delusions. Delusions is not truth. Strong delusions. That's you like pork. Okay, give him some pig feet. Give him some pigtails, pig ears sandwiches. They like get it all they want. You got it all wrong, bro. So you got that fake Jesus idea. And no, those things talking free will. There's no such thing as free will. It's not in the Quran, or in fact, the Quran speaks against it. It says you think you have control, you don't. That's some shit they made up. No such thing as free will. Never has been, never will be. It isn't. That's something they made up. It's a Christian idea. It's something a concept they made up. They don't. It's not in the Bible anywhere. Not in the Quran. You can't say that everything happens according to the will of Allah. And they say you got free will. They're too inconsistent. Like saying dry water. No such thing. Nothing happens without the will of Allah, but you got free will. Well then, that's outside of Allah's will, ain't it? Outside His control. If it's free, you do whatever you want to do. If you understand anything about physics, but you probably don't, because you here's Farrakhan's ass, right? Prophecy would be impossible if you have free will. It'd be impossible. Because anything changes, everything after that changes too. And prophecy has to be right and exact. Because how could they 16,000, we 9,000 years into this 25-year cycle? 24-year cycle? 4,000-year cycle? So it was 9,000 years ago, they said a man will be born during this particular time, near the end of the 400 years, his name would be Elijah. We didn't even speak English back then. No one spoke English 9,000 years ago. And it was no matter how you translate, so all that had to be factored in. So you think that's something you just roll the dice? No, you had to know you had to. I mean, what was Elijah's father had a daughter instead? What if he got hit on the head, or whatever? See, and what if his grandfather, whatever, so forth? Everything is totally accounted for. So they have to know exactly what everyone's going to do exactly. So they couldn't do that if you had free will, could they? That's just one way. But if you know anything about mathematics, you know that's impossible. But that's crap they come up with. They tell you, nothing happens without the will of Allah. Then first they tell you got a free will. How does those two match up? The ignorant dumbasses over there. How does that add up? Nothing happens without the will of Allah, but then you got free will. How does that add up? It adds up to you because you don't give a damn. You got your head so far up Farrakhan's ass that 1 + 1 = 11 to you. So you keep it there. Because we don't want you. You can add and subtract. You can add. I mean, it's simple. Oh, you got free will. Okay, and that's bad as the Sunnis. Everything, nothing happens without the will of Allah. Nothing happens without the will of Allah, right? And then when Adam's cruise missile up there hasn't blow up, they should be fighting, should they? Because everything happens out of free will. Everything happens. They should be happy when everything happens. They come over there and rape their women, whatever. They should be say, yeah, thank you, Allah. If you see, but if you go over and say that, they want to cut your head off because it makes no sense. So when Adam sends a cruise missile to their ass, God says a cruise to their ass and blows up, they should say, "All praise be to Allah," right? If it had to be Allah's will, they said nothing happens to Allah's will, didn't they? So they said they go along God's will. So that means if a cruise God sends a cruise missile to their ass, that was God's will. They couldn't do it without God's will, right? And that God wanted the cruise missile to go up their ass. They wanted to blow up. They just say, "All praise be to Allah," right? See? Shit don't add up. Because they can't add, they can't put it out, they can't say it like it's obvious it is, because then they expose themselves. That's not what's more. So clear arguments. People start seeing a great light, not confusion. That shit, they got a confusion. Great light is Islam is mathematics, and mathematics Islam. So you're mathematically correct. And everything you can hear is mathematically correct, or they come get you $5,000. Everything you get, mathematically correct, logically correct, rationally correct. Everything. Or come and get you $5,000. But none they say make any sense, nothing. Oh, it don't matter what your mother and daddy is, because God make you in the womb. God forms you in the womb. But then, well, God's a man. He's a man. Oh, so with that logic, that means that, and that man's Master Muhammad, that means he's in everybody's womb making babies. That what he said? You had no dream of God made you in the womb. What you say is God's a man? That means everybody, what, he's screwing all these women? Or he's talking rough, yeah. Is that what he's doing? What about the animals too? Who's making them babies? See, shit don't add up, do it? But see, Farrakhan know what he got over there, so he can say anything he want to say. He flinging shit out and he calling it honey. You just sopping it up. Hey, man, he said it was honey. But he said that's funny. It must be honey, man. There's something wrong with my taste buds. It should taste sweet, man, but something wrong with my taste buds. Ain't nothing wrong with that, because he says honey, it's got to be honey. Nothing he says adds up. Nothing. I'm not even going to that shit show this Sunday. I ain't gonna waste time with that, because nothing they said that add up. Nothing adds up. We're gonna show a couple things here, right, as we go along, right? But let's see what happens here, brothers and sisters.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Pfleger as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
yes, sir,
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa maybe 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you.
One more time, brother.
So again, brothers and sisters, things don't add up. He gave a picture of Master Muhammad, but he says God, right? Yeah, agreed. He is the God. this period of time. His lesson, remember this lesson he gave Elijah Muhammad. His lesson, he says, Caucasian white man is a devil. All of them. Said they're 100% wicked. It's a lesson. And they be taken off the planet. That's what that picture shows you, Master Muhammad. Is that what he said? Is that consistent with what he said the God said? So in other words, the God know what the fuck he talking about? That's what that's said. Read the lesson. He said he representing the God. That's remember Savior's Day. He said that Savior is honoring the God, which he just says, you know what the fuck he talking about, this God. Because, hey man, this is my brother. We honor him. And that's how the lesson says. It's a clear lesson. Go read it. Want me to show you the lesson? I should have showed it. 100% wicked. Define it. Not the white man. He says Caucasian white man is the devil. They're 100% wicked. They cannot be reformed and be taken off the planet. That sounds like he's... So, who's right? If he's right, then the guy's wrong. If the guy's right, then he's a goddamn liar. He's not representing the God. He doesn't represent mess. That message totally against everything the lessons say. Totally against it. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to talk the Messiah, Adamic, right? Adamic beast and C-bomb. Okay, so I'm going to go over what I talked about yesterday, a little bit more about. Okay, so. Dramatic things are happening right now, brothers and sisters. You know, they're saying right now that Arab states are getting together, and some of them saying it's back and forth. They keep changing, so I'm wait to the actual event, because we read one thing, next day, 5 minutes later, saying something else. They're saying that they declared war on false Israel. Then they say, well, they're an emergency meeting right now. It's supposed to be an emergency meeting right now, right? And they said the emergency meeting is to declare war. You gotta make it. I'm not. You know, they want to. We'll see. But I know the war will be resumed soon. And that war resumes over the Middle East, between Iran and false Israel. So, see, that's what they're saying. They're saying, well, Qatar is bringing an emergency meeting with the other Arab countries. I don't think I saw this with them, but I'm not sure because it's not clear. He says, and they want Iran to help them. They want to declare war against false Israel. And so they've been saying all day, and then now they're saying, well, no, they're emergency meeting that they're going to do that, so forth, so on. So we'll see what happens. I know one thing, the war will take place. Okay. And the Messiah. I'm not getting to that. I'm 5 days, so I'm gonna get to that when it was this Messiah situation, right? But the sum this up, brothers and sisters. They come at you every kind of way you can think of. They know who you are. The whole world knows who you are. You're the God. They never want you to rise again. I'll leave it different now. Let's move on.
Three. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. 5 And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold, therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. 6 And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth.
Now, this is Son of Man, Messiah is talking. That's the one's talking in the verse. Check it out. One's talking. Right? Now, they're going to tell you Son of Man. They keep telling you Son of Man, Son of Man. Right? But Master Muhammad is not Son of Man. They give a description. It says hair like lamb's wool, and he don't. So what can they do? They give a description. And Muhammad said was Son of Man. Let's say he got things nearly correct, but the fact is, they gave a description. And that description does not fit Master Muhammad. It does not fit Farrakhan. Right? Son of Man is not the God. He's a lamb. Right? See, if you understand the scriptures, he would be the one that break the seals. Son of Man, he'd be the one to break the seals. If you break the seals, then because the seals got the whole scriptures locked down. And when you open the scripture, you find out that David, right, is Master Muhammad. He had a son called Suleiman, spiritual son, Su-Oman. That's where the Son of Man comes from. It's a play on words, Su-Oman. Showing that he's the son of David, spiritual son. So the father, remember that Jesus referred to the father as God as the father, he being the son. And said Solomon was the wisest man ever lived. But that had to apply to the Lamb, right? Because no one could figure it out but him. See, you don't know these things, and they don't know it. So they say stuff, they pull stuff out of their ass, and they're going to pay for it, because when they pull out their ass, they're going to have to eat themselves in a minute. Consequence. That's where it comes from. It says his hair like lamb's wool, feet like brass. That doesn't fit Farrakhan. Farrakhan got double hair. Doesn't fit Master Muhammad either. So he gives you a description. Well, the sun, as the lightning comes from east and the west, it didn't say that he would come from the east and the west. So as the lightning strike from east to the west, see they assume stuff. As the lightning strike east and west, that's where the lightning strike. So shall the son come as Son of Man be. Well, that means it could mean, right? He shows up. You see lightning strike from east to the west. It don't mean he come from the east from the west. They assume that. It doesn't say Son of Man will come from the east, from the east to the west. It don't say that. As a lightning strike from the east to the west, so shall come as Son of Man be. So in other words, it could be, when he shows up, it'd be lightning strikes. And you see lightning striking in the east. You know what I'm saying? So, but the point is you got to put it all together. So if they tell you all that stuff to give you a description, I mean, Christians do it too. They tell you the Son of Man is going to be a little wool hair and dark skin. Then they give you a picture of a white man with dark hair. That's how stupid they think you are. They give you shit to eat, and they force you to, when you was in the fields, shitlins. That's exactly what they called it back then, shitlins, because that's what it is. Anybody that cooks it, they still sell it at Walmart, so that means people still buying it. If you cook, you right now, you see the shit floating on there, My father cooked to him before he converted. And you see shit floating on the water. There are people like, yeah, I ain't with anybody shitless, man. Anybody shitless, man. They got to make sure to clean. How can you clean shit? But then after we got out the fields, they changed it. They said, oh, these niggas ain't going to figure it out. They took this S off and put a C there, chitlins. So how easily we deceived. How easily we deceived. Now see, this how, let me play it again. Remember, this is Messiah talking. Right? This is how he talk, this is how he feel. Listen carefully every word. Let me play it again. Every word, just pay close attention to every word here.
3. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. 5 And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold, therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. 6 And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth.
That's the Son of Man talking. The Messiah. And look how look the way he says in his heart. Vengeance in my heart. He's angry, furious. Right? Now remember, this is him talking. See? Now listen to this.
Six. I will send him against an hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge, to take the spoil, and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. 7 Howbeit he meaneth not so, neither doth his heart think so, but it is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations not a few. 8 For he saith, Are not my princes altogether kings?
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadafuddin and I have had disagreement. But his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
Okay, bro, since you be the judge. I just showed you what the scripture says the spirit of the Messiah would be, Son of Man. Does he sound like that? Does he sound like the scripture say he would sound? Does he? He sounds like that's just the opposite. Just the opposite. He's trying to help the devil. I don't want you to it's in his heart to do it, it says. Look what he said. He don't want any of that. It shows you what the spirit of the Messiah, what he wants to say, what he wants to do. It says it's hard to do it. But listen to him. Is he the Messiah? Or is he's schizophrenic? See? He's on the devil's side. He wants to look out for the devils. He don't want to see none of that happen. So are you still, you see what I'm saying? It's easy to call him out. That's Messiah talking, but he sound like that person. I show you 2 clips where, you read all through the Bible, the Messiah, he come to wrath, destruction. The angel, every crap you read, everywhere you look in the scripture, in the Quran too, he come for destruction, judgment, kick ass, burn the wicked. But this one, he don't want to see nothing happen to America. He want to make America good. Well, unless he claimed he's following that from it. Let's say you cannot reform the devil. It's impossible. But he can do it. See, so when the time comes, brothers and sisters, when the wheat gets separated from the chaff, the wheat ain't going to have a goddamn problem with burning that chaff up because they see they deserve it. It ain't going to be no question. Man, maybe some of them okay. No, none of them okay. Because you see what they're doing? There ain't no question about it. So they over there, it's clear. There's no question about it. Right? Because that's clear enough. Right? Y'all can see that. Everything I can show you right now is enough. See, they get there. And Wallace hated his father to his deathbed, until his grave. He set up another organization called the Belialians. It's all about hating his father. His father's no good. His father was a liar. Master Muhammad ain't no God. This whole program. Yet Farrakhan said, hey man, we brothers. Wallace him together destroyed the Nation of Islam, got rid of it, started this thing called Belialians. Farrakhan was with him when he did it. They took all the money, destroyed, liquidated all the funds, right? Assets and everything else, and pocketed it, left the believers with nothing. Nothing, zero. So he's a multi-millionaire. So what happened to the money? Have you ever come back and apologize, say, I'm sorry I took this money years back? Have you done that? He hasn't rebuilt anything. He claimed he built it. He hasn't rebuilt the Nation of Islam. I was there. He ain't rebuilt a damn thing. They got some slum restaurant. I used to work at that slum restaurant. I went looking for it a few years back when I was up in Chicago, right? I couldn't find them, but I said, what happened? He claimed he built everything, but wasn't there. I found it in some damn alleyway, some rundown place in the alleyway. It's got a Islamic motif to it. And they got immigrants, working there, cooking. The food was terrible. It was in an alleyway. Yeah, you go. Brothers and sisters, if you hear this message and you part of those that seek the message of the covenant, just take a pass the link on to tell your brothers and sisters. Get around their resistance to blocking it. But don't worry about it. Don't try to convert those clowns. You walk up on, you smell the shit on their breath, get away. Because they got to hit Farrakhan's ass, get away from quick. Stay right, let them keep right. Don't pull their head out of his ass. Don't do it. Leave it up there. Leave him alone. Because that's a chaff. All you're doing is helping everybody else, because we don't want to waste time. Because when time comes, the separation comes, everything be moving fast, and we got a time, right? Trying to pick peanuts out of shit. Already separated. We don't mix it up. You don't separate something and mix it back up, do you? We don't want them. I ain't trying to get them. Okay, Ezekiel's will. Now they're gonna tell. See, Ezekiel's will has nothing to do with Malplane. I know Elijah Muhammad said that was there, but let's say he got things nearly correct. Right. So he didn't know everything, but they want to say he's an eternal leader of the nation. No, he wasn't any of that. Right. He didn't ever claim to be any of that. He said he didn't know everything. But the point is, they wanted to say whatever. So that you got clowns running over the Mr. Black man. I don't know a goddamn thing. They didn't say this coming. They didn't say war coming. They didn't say COVID. Can't say anything. COVID was an easy call. 1619 and 2019, 20 years, and immediate plague. It didn't affect black people. It didn't affect Africa. It didn't affect Haiti. They would tell us it was dropping like flies. It was a lie. Trying to be a total lie. In fact, it was actually poisoning black people. Those shots. Foolish enough to take it. Right, what time? COVID. It said to be plagues. If you don't let the people, at 40 years, the plagues will immediately start coming. And if they don't let us out of here, all the rest of the plagues are going to hit them. The rest of the plagues are going to hit them. One's going on right now. When I get to the plague side, I'm going to show you one of the plagues going on right now that you don't recognize it. But you'll see in a minute. Look at Ezekiel's will here. With Ezekiel's will, I try to explain to you in the beginning, in the preview, the angel key. There's a key in the book of Daniel. There's a key also, which unlocks the rest of it. First, you got to find the key. When you find the key, it locks the rest of it. So I gave you some background of the key. So when I talk, I refer to it every now and then. You have some idea what I'm talking about. If you haven't studied, you wouldn't know, but some idea. See, the Ezekiel's will, it's not talking about. It's talking about the angel key, actually. It's really talking about Satan's rule, how powerful Gog and Magog are. It's not talking about Master Muhammad, another plane. The Master Muhammad, he got it. That plane is dreadful. And nothing can stand against it. It's the most technological thing that this world ever seen. At least these people We had more technology than great than that 50,000 years ago. I mean, everything you see out there, we put out there. How do you think we put out there? With magic? No, we was out there. You know, the thing is, when you look out in the universe, what you see out there is not the way it is right now. What you see out there right now, it maybe was the farther you go back, is you're looking back in the past. Because the light travels 186,000 miles per second. So if you're 1 trillion miles away, it would take billions of years to get here. So by the time we get here, that a billion years further away than it was. If you're seeing what you see is how it was a billion years ago. You look out there, you don't know how it is right now. It's further out. It's even more. It's worse. You want to say worse, right? So that's what you. So the thing is that if you got a powerful enough telescope, right? Because remember, you're looking back in the past, and they probably have done it. They probably have done it. They just flying around out there 50 billion years ago. Because he was out there. This mother plane you have that Master Prime built, he did not build the engine. He did not build the engine. It's too technologically advanced, but this world wouldn't have the materials to do it with. He built the structure and everything else, but the engine was hidden. It's just like the computer we use to navigate with and to write history with, that's hidden too also. Most it's actually off the planet. They wouldn't even leave it on the planet. Can't get a chance with that one. The engine was hidden. They told him where the engine was. That's it. And that's why his father went to all the scientists and gave him all the information he needed. Because remember, the Son of Man, the Mahdi, or the Messiah, remember, he's self-taught. Ain't that what they tell you? Is that what Elijah told you? Master Muhammad wasn't self-taught. He's not to tell you that. He says Father taught him. He says Father got his information, all these scientists, and told him. He says he's a made God, and on top of that, Farrakhan definitely not self-taught. Elijah's not self-taught. See how it stuff falls apart? We start asking questions. Say, well, you ain't self. Yes, I am self-taught. I didn't get to pass the 9th grade. Not that I couldn't, because I was the smartest kid in my class. I always had max. Only problem I had, my father used to whip my ass all the time because I had bad side on my mother's side. You know, the discipline side. Oh boy. Right? I love my father. Right? He for the 5 years I was with him as my mother passed. That man. He was in Louisiana, man. Oh, that was like an obstacle course. It was worse than that, right? I wasn't a bad child. But I ain't disrespecting at all. I did. Right. But like I said, but now I don't know. I look back at it. I mean, I'm 76 years old. I look back, was I like bad in school? I don't remember. I didn't think. But I always got bad somewhere. I always got all A's on the academic side. The disciplinary side, or all they call it U's, I guess, unsatisfactory. I'd be scared to take my report card home. Right? I said, why don't you look at the A side, other side? And so when I left, my father passed the year between going to grammar school to high school. So that summer, he passed that summer, August 21st, 1963. When he passed, August 21st, 1963. And so that was during the summer. So I started high school in September, and I got in high school. We started this week grade. I was going to Newark, right? We were there just integrated school. It's all a Jewish school. Jerry Lewis had went there, right? If you know Jerry Lewis, younger people, older people. And you went in, there ain't no one black folks up in there. And I got in there, and I asked a question. Teacher wouldn't ignore me and everything. I said, I don't need this. And also knows every time you go to school, teacher always reading out a book. I said, hell, I can read books. I was always in the library anyway. So I said, hell with this. That was the end of it. I think I spent about I had one teacher, my Spanish teacher, Miss Caggiano. She tried to tell me, she begged me to stay in high school. But she said, man, you're so smart. Every time I said, I got out of there. I started going to the library. I taught myself, right? I got books. So now I was able to teach myself. I want to teach taught myself calculus, trigonometry, geometry, physics, gravity, vectors, tensors. I teach myself music. That's one thing I ain't get into. My son got that, and he won't tell me anything, so that's no story. So, algebra, I said that, right? Calculus. I taught myself all those things. I got a thing I just said, you don't know shit. Everything I got on there, I know. And I ran my own IT business for years, my own IT business. And I go for a contract, and I give my resume, right? They always ask me, man, I had a very good reputation. That's why they hired me. They put me as a contractor because my reputation was great. But they looked at my resume and said, they always ask me, well, you don't have no degrees on here. How can you put your degrees on here? Because they always thought I had degrees, right? So, you want somebody with a degree, you want somebody that know how to do the job. Case closed. I went into that. Because I had no degree. Right. I got a GED. I did get a GED in the military. Cause I went to the military. If I knew like I knew now, I would never went in near it. Went in there, got a GED, and they told you had to go to school. You need to take these courses for take GED. I said, hell with that. Let me just take it straight up. I took it straight up and matched it. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm saying, but I was always one to think and use my head. You had the same ability. The problem is, see, you don't. They just keep you. They convince you that you don't have anything, so you don't use it. You're the wisest people on the planet. You're the ones that put all the stars out there. You're the one made you make own the cream of the planet, God, and the universe. That's you. And you're much smarter than me. Because when you get back home, I mean, this knowledge we have right now, nothing compared to the knowledge we're going to have. You're the gods. I'm talking male and female. And my job is to get you back in touch with yourself. Remember, you had to get your mind back. You got a mind's working against you because you're beating yourself. Read Mark. So I'm not trying to pressure, I'm just telling you. See, it says, I'll be the first rose up. No, I'm not going to leave that alone because that's, you understand Elijah is that one. But I'm going to leave it alone that one. But the point is that that is you. I'm trying to get you back in touch with yourself. Why am I doing this? I'm just here to talk to dummies. So what the hell? I spent 35 years. I gave up my business and everything else. I lived in a mini mansion up in New Jersey. Right? Paying money, my own business. And then I stumbled into the angel, which, boy, I still bugged about that one. I had no idea. Because after Elijah departed, I started doing myself like he said. Then one day I told a story, I bumped into the angel. I had no idea until I got into it. No, I started figuring out. And then I realized I broke the seals. What does that mean? And then, okay, go. Dropped off on me. I didn't want it. If you want it, you can have it. If you can handle it, you can have it. I don't want this. I ain't asked for this. It had been no love fest. In jail. I was prisoner on 3 years in Demon Island. Story Jones, remember, he was in well for 3 years. Ain't been no love fest. Lost my family and children, everybody, because of this message. I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you, it ain't been a love fest. I'm not getting a dime for to ask anybody for anything. So these clowns, the reason I'm saying this, because you are the target. This information is for you. Because once you start getting this information, you're going to do greater things than what I'm doing right now. You're going to be doing we're going to be way greater than this. It's nothing. But you get your mind back, you're going to do exploits. Way. Just like, your child is usually smarter than you. Once you get your mind back, that's my job to get your mind back. See? So it's not here to impress you, it's here to get that information back to you. And I'll make you sacrifice to do it. Right? And I'm not making any bones about this. I said, if we're just brothers, I probably backed off. I'm doing it because of sisters. I said, look at this, oh man, I said, ooh, man, I looked at that. I said, I had no idea what I was getting into. Once I broke those, I said, oh, do you mean that's my burden? I ain't asked for that. I ain't need that. And then I talked about these sisters. I said, no, somebody got to defend these sisters. So that's my primary motivation. Right? Your brothers. Anyway, let me move on, brothers and sisters. I don't know why I got down that path. Anyway, it's equals will. Let's look at this.
Eight. And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their four sides, and they four had their faces and their wings. 9. Their wings were joined one to another, they turned not when they went every one straight forward. 10. As for the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man, and the face of a lion, on the right side, and they four had the face of an ox on the left side, they four also had the face of an eagle.
So if you know the angel key, right? Those are the same ones they define in the angel, what you call revelations, right? But we know the month planet looking on like that, it's metal. Well, I mean, that's what it's portrayed, but it's not made of a horse and a lion, all that kind of stuff. But that's where they portray it. But no, that's coming about the angel key, and I'm gonna show you, right? Okay, see here? If you go into Revelation, first like a lion, then a calf, face of man, and eagle. And that refers to each one has 6 wings. And they say 4 wings. There's a reason for that, because top 2 wings, and I'm not going to go into that kind of detail. That's what it's talking right there. And when you put the whole thing together like this, see? That's it. That's Adam's world, run by Satan, Gog and Magog. How powerful, that's where he's seeing, how powerful they would be. How powerful Gog and Magog would be, how powerful that world would be, Satan's world. What are we talking about? They're talking about the mother plane. Watch this. That's how I explained it before. See? Elijah had it wrong too. He said 24 signs. He thought those 24 elders, 24 scientists. No. Each one has 6 wings. Each one of those represent a nation. The lion represents the African nation. Right? The calf represents the Asian nation. The face of man represents the Oriental nation. And then you had the 7 spirits. Right? That's the original nation. And then you had the eagle that's in control of all of them. See, they control all of them. And then you go, it gets even better. That angel, that key is so powerful, because right now it shows you right here that this wing is controlling Europe was colonized all of Africa, right? UK had domination over the Asian nation, right? You said Russia, well, this is Russia right here. Well, they did. Each one had a different kind of level of control. Ideological control over the Oriental nations. How is that? Because remember, they was communists. That was communism. Where, right? Vietnam, Korea, China, they got communism from Soviet Union. Ideological control. And then you got us, spirits, America. It says false Israel controlling the whole affair. That's one sitting on the throne, not God. How could God have a book in his hand that he wrote that he don't know what it means himself? It says no one in heaven, the earth, or under earth could figure that seal, break those seals, but the Lamb. That means that the sons on the throne couldn't have been God. That was Satan. They had the book. He took the book from them. The Christians had the book. Then you got the top. The top part of each nation is the Islamic part. That's why it's the gold part. So you got idea. That means that those who crowns it, they're European on their maternal side, right? Because the top part is original. That's right. Each part of each nation is mixed. The original on the paternal side and whatever on the maternal side. So in the case of Europeans, you got those original. That's talking about the Shia, Iran and Syria. The original, right? So they really original people. They're like Master Muhammad. That's why they're his witnesses. That's what his angels. I don't get too far out here. That's why because gold represents the original. That's why the top is original. But see, if you understand that, remember the calf. Now the Asian, that represents the Asian, also including the Arabs. Watch this. They include the Arabs. Now watch this. Right? They include Arabs. Okay, so the Arabs would be the Islamic part of the Asian nation, right? Gold. But that's the calf, ain't it? That's where the golden calf is. They could tell the golden calf is a Sunni. They're a Sunni. They're the golden calf. Farrakhan have you worshiping Aaron. Let's see what's going on. Got a call here. Yeah, these bosses take or leave it. I ain't trying to convince anybody anything. The key explains everything. Explains who everyone is, what everyone's doing. So it explains who the golden calf is. Tells you who the angel are. All of it. That's what the golden calf is. It says, Aaron have you worship the golden calf. That's he got you worship Sunni. It's the golden calf. It's like calf, and there's the golden part, it's the Arabs. The Asian nation. There you go. Anyway, that's Ezekiel's will. The mother plane. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, get my main subject here, brothers and sisters. Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk about, let's do Adam first, then we get to C-Bomb. Let's get Adam out the way, because I want to allude to it, because yesterday, this is a hard subject. I explained it before a year or so ago in a different way. I'm trying to find a graph that shows different, but let me just go to it. Now I'm trying to explain, see here? I'm trying to explain from a mathematical point of view. What this represents, it says that heavens and earth were one. That's what Christ says. Then we expand the heavens. So that means that in the beginning, it tells you, well, if you call it beginning, because it never was a beginning or end, it's always going forever. When the universe totally contracted, it means it was an intense pressure, because it was actually the original star. Totally correct. It's a star. It's the greatest star in the universe. No star is just the greatest, because all the energy was in it. The whole universe was contracted. The devil's called the Big Bang. They said it was down the side of Adam. If you can believe the side of Adam, you can surely be the side of the earth. Because Christ says it was the earth and the heavens. There was one thing, and then we expanded the heavens. So like that there. So the thing is, when you have pressure like that there, when it's coming down, the pressure builds, like you squeeze a balloon, it builds. Keep on until the pressure in the center is equal to the pressure on the outside, then it stops. Because then it stops after if the pressure inside, if the pressure outside, then it stops because now it's equal. If the pressure inside is weaker, then the pressure keeps on going until the pressure outside gets stronger and stronger and stronger. They're equal. Then it stops. Then it starts expanding again. Right? So what I'm showing here is that You have the outside, that's the universe, and then inside will be, right? It's the inside. I'm not going to say the earth. The earth is part of it, but I want to keep it simple. So you have the pressure inside and the pressure outside, right? So it's bound to both are equal. Then it stops. Okay. So I'm showing that the heavens, that's the outside, the gray, and the yellow, that's it. But see, the thing is that it was like that there. You got, it means if you understand how pressure works, I keep telling everybody, study pressure. You got force, because pressure's collisions is force. Right? The more collision you have, the greater the pressure is. That's what it is, really. The way they say, call it. The way they use English, I don't like it. The mathematics, I would say a different way, but I'm going to stick with the way they use it. Right? Because collision is actually pressure. But anyway, then you got temperature, how fast the atoms are moving, whatever is moving. Right? Then you got the volume, how large it is. So those are three variables that comes with pressure. Volume, how much you got. So in other words, if you got a balloon like this, that's the volume. But if you start, right, you start squeezing it, the volume decreases. But because the volume increases, the pressure increases. So I'm saying, like you in the elevator, you got people in the elevator, right? And the elevator start getting smaller, people stay in there, and then the pressure start building up, but the volume goes down. See? So it's like that there. It means now that the pressure, it starts moving, the temperature, it gets, the more you squeeze it, the temperature goes up. It starts moving faster and faster and faster. That's what temperature is, how fast the atoms are moving. See, when it was cold, that means nothing's moving. See, you see ice stuff, this stuff is cooled down, it's not moving. But with hot, everything's moving real fast. See, that's what heat is. Heat is, it's how fast, it's heat and cold. If cold is when atoms move very slow. Fire is when it's moving very fast, the opposite. And in between that, warm to cold, right? So it gets cooler, it starts go from hot to warm to that to cold, or from cold to warm to steam, whatever. Right? That's the way it works. So at that point, when the universe is at that correct, man, it's extremely hot, hotter than any place in the universe, hotter than any star there is, because because remember this universe, that star is all the energy on the total universe. So it's moving at terrific speeds. So we told it to go 24 billion miles per second, which is when it reaches that speed of thought, conscious. Right? See? But the outside will be conscious because it's still got a higher volume. Right? So it's squeezing, but still the pressure is great, but it's more anyway. I don't want to get too technical here, but bottom line is that inside is both pressure equal now. That's when it stops, when both pressure equal. But the inside is the atom moves so fast, 24 billion miles per second. The outside did not move 24 billion miles per second because it's greater volume. So that means the atoms move slower. So it doesn't get conscious, but the inside does 24 billion miles per second means she's consciousness. So that means the inside is conscious because that speed is consciousness. The outside is not conscious. But the pressure is the same. But you say the pressure side is conscious, remember the same, that means it's conscious of all the atoms on the outside. Because they're equal. So it's conscious of all the atoms on the outside. That's what God make on, because it's conscious of everything in the universe, because that's size of the universe at that time. It's conscious of every atom, everything, the total. It's like your body, your brain's conscious of everything in your body. It's conscious of everything in that universe, everything. All the atoms and everything else. Totally conscious of it. Because they're equal. But in that state, its form is consciousness in the center. Right? See? Hope you understand that. And let me say something else about a little sidebar here. At that point, it's conscious. So that's a being. That's the original being, which is still that original being still exists. That's us. We're in this form now. Right? It's us. We're the original being. We're all us together. It says, "It's Allah is He who could comprehend all vision, but vision comprehends Him not." Think about that. You break that down. Allah is He who comprehends comprehends all vision, but vision comprehends not. So think about when we could tune in. If we could tune in, all our minds are correct. All our minds are collected, right? So now we got super mind because all our minds are connected, right? So that means, right, we can comprehend all of us because all our minds are connected. But one individual can't comprehend the whole thing. The vision, right? He comprehends all vision because all minds are connected. So the mind comprehends all vision, but one person's vision cannot comprehend the whole thing. That's what it's telling you. So it's beautiful when you understand it, brothers and sisters. We the Allah. That's what I said. Make on the pre-planets, God universe. All of us. See? So we can prove everything here. But so that thing is so. But see, the thing is, at that point, it has knowledge of every atom. Total knowledge, right? So at that point, it creates what you might call a computer that has all the information, every atom is, because the Quran says, right? It says Allah is aware of every atom in the universe, everything, every tree, the fall, everything. I forget how it says it, but that's what it's talking about. If we have all of it. So it takes that and builds what you might call a computer, right? And all the information, it puts it in there. Now, and then you know how the universe works, expands, contracts. So now you got the algorithm, how the universe expands, contracts, how it interacts. You put that in there, you put the data in there, and so you can say, okay, you can say what the universe exact condition is going to be a million years from now, 1,000 years from now, 10 years from now, because you know where it is right now. You got the algorithm, so all you got to look in there and say, okay, what's the universe going to look like 10 years from now? What's it going to look like 100 years from now? So we limit to 24,000 years because there's a tremendous amount of data, energy to do that. So we live 24,000 years at a time. And at the end of that, right, then the data that it tells you what the universe is at the end of 24,000 years, you got to hold that data. So for the next 24,000 years, you got to feed that in so it can go forward to the next one. That's how history is written, brothers and sisters. That's what, but see, and so we had that computer's offline, so they don't, so if we lose it, we can't rebuild it again because we don't have, our condition we're right now, we don't have knowledge of every universe. When the first God could do that, he set up, right? And so that's why we have to protect it. And so that data from the last 24,000 years, we put it in, so go to the next one. If they destroyed that, we couldn't do it anymore until we get back again. So that's why it's offline, it's off planet. So we continue writing history, right? But you need that computer for another thing too. What you need it for is, okay, when we can move through the universe at 24 billion miles per second. They talk about limit speed of light. If that we couldn't get anywhere. The Quran says a garden is wide as the heaven and earth. We put everything out there. That means we can get out there. When we're 24 billion miles per second, that means we can get to the nearest star maybe in a day. Right? But remember, at that speed, mass time acceleration equals force. Kinetic force. So in other words, if you, okay, put it like this, say for instance, somebody put a bullet, they put it on the stand, half a mile away, right? And then I get on a trolley or something, right? You know, like one of those skateboards. And then I'm moving that thing moving towards the speed of sound. Well, when I hit that bullet, that's how fast the bullet travels. So, but he stands still, but I'm traveling that speed. Same thing, it's still the same effect. The bullet still hit me just like I stood still and fired at me. Same thing, right? So you traveling through there. So if you're moving at 24 billion miles per second and you hit a dime, it'll destroy you because the magnetic force will be so tremendous. So you can't have anything out there. You can't have anything in your way to move from here to, and you can't run anything because you move 24 billion miles a second. You got to be totally. It can't be anything in your way. Only way you do that, you have to have that computer, the same computer that you put in there, program that program going and say, this is the course you need to take. There's nothing in your way. That's what we need it for that. We need it for the same reason. Otherwise, there's no way you can navigate out there. Anything you hit, if you're going to speed of light, anything hits you, it'll destroy you. This is what technology we have. Them saying, I was telling about, I'm going to try and tell you how smart I am, but this stuff y'all gonna be dealing with, you was dealing with 50,000 years ago. That's much smarter than I am right now. And you're going to be smarter now than you were before 50,000 years ago. There's no story to get. I'll get into that. I'll get that another time. You got to just turn that brain back on, bro and sisters. Once that turn on, it's all over. So that's what you need. You need it for that. But another thing too. Well, no, let me move on. There's so much you could do with that computer. Well, maybe I may say something else. Okay. You have a computer. Say somebody, they got that computer 1,000 years from now. 1,000 years from now, they got a computer, same one you got, right? Remember this, you can track everything in the universe, everything else, right? So what you do is, you can look forward and tell your computer, say, okay, I want you to look forward for this particular place, tell me what, it can come on just like on your computer, just like on a screen. Because remember, the same computer can tell you where everything is in the universe at the same time, also write history, future history, so that also you can use it that way. So you can communicate with somebody 1,000 years from now in real time. They communicate with you in real time. They don't exist yet, but as far as computers concerned, they do, because it can track, it can see what it's going to look at, where everything is going to be 1,000 years from now, everything. So all you need is something on your computer that identifies you. So the computer, it's easier to do it, because it's okay. Look for this person with this DNA. Leave me alone. Leave me alone, brother and sister. You're going to a new world. It's more fantastic than anything you can imagine. That's why the scripture says your heart and mind cannot imagine what's about to happen to you. And this is only days away, brothers and sisters. If you can read devils, you step into that. So we don't have to invent anything. We can always look in the future and see. Move on, brothers and sisters. But this is what I want to get to right here. Now you see this right? I'm saying this is your conscious. This is, and this is you conscious of the entire universe. But watch this. See this? Now in here, you conscious of everything out here, right? But remember, it took pressure to bring about this consciousness, right? And extreme pressure brought that consciousness. And then, but within that, you got inner consciousness. That this under enough pressure, it created inner consciousness. That's self-conscious right there, because this is conscious of this. It's conscious of this inner conscious that's called self-awareness. It's conscious of this one. This one's conscious of this one, and this one's conscious of this one. That's inner consciousness. And it's all mathematical. So this has mathematical control of this. Because conscious is all mathematical. So this is totally, purely mathematical. All this is mathematical, right? So this, if you understand, this has this to my quality again, those of you know what I'm talking about, has quality control over this. And this has quality control over this, which is called conscious. That's why it's called, do you have a conscious consequence? It's conscious within a consciousness. That's why as you have a conscious, and some people don't have a conscious, right? Yeah, but you're conscious. Why would they say, they kind of hint, say, he don't have a conscious. Yeah, but you're conscious, right? They're talking about interconscious. And so some people don't have it. They don't have a conscience. That's devils. They membership, they don't have it. That's based on consequence because it's a fundamental principle. That works on fundamental principle. All of it does, actually. That's what it is. Now, what does that mean? That's the original and consequence, conscious of, because this here just has conscious of what's happening out here. Doesn't have conscious of self. That's conscious of all this here. This has conscious of self, inner conscious. So as we expand, I'm not going to get to details, but expand all the creatures that came out, that we brought out of us, right? That's no detail. Again, I talked about it yesterday. Maybe I'm not going to get to that. I'm not going to talk the rest of the stuff. But every time we brought something into existence, we brought them existence from this. So we brought the amoebas out, first, as the universe started expanding, I might as well speak to it a little bit. We understand the pressure, but now the universe expands. That's tension is the opposite of pressure. So pulling things apart as it's expanding. It's been so fast, it's expanding, right? So like rubber, you pull it, and tension, and then a piece break off, then both comes relaxes. So it's pushing, that's called dissatisfaction because it's tense. Then it breaks. Everybody's satisfied, but now you got two pieces. Well, that's how evolution works. So first of all, we break a little piece off, amoebas and stuff, right? Then it get more complicated over years, deeper and deeper and deeper, get plant life, so forth, complicated, and the universe expand, until it got to the point of almost maximum expansion, and we bring out the most complicated being that we can, the devils. But none of them had this, because they all came out of this. None of them came out of this. None of them have self-awareness. They're more complicated, it's more complicated on this, right? But they never got to this. Only we have that. The gods have this. Consequence conscious. Because when you don't have conscious, you don't feel consequence. How you know if a person feels consequence or not? Because if nobody's be punch people in the nose, they're not going to punch right back in the nose. If I know that if I punch your nose, you're going to punch me right back in the nose, I'm not going to punch your nose. I don't do that. It's like I'm punching myself in the nose. If I know I shoot you, you're going to shoot me, I'm not going to do that. And if I kill your son, you're going to kill my son, you're not going to do that. I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to gain anything from it. I'm only going to do it if I don't think that I'm not going to. I only do it if I think there's no consequence. That's why devils make myths shed blood, because there's no fear of consequence. That's why it says no fear of consequence before their eyes, no fear of God. That's what it means. That's how you know they don't have a conscience. Or they wouldn't did what to us and look what they did to us in Holocaust, 400 years. All of them. What does that mean? Because they don't have conscience. They're conscious. All the animals are conscious, but they don't have a conscience. They're conscious, but they don't have a conscience. That's why I don't like this language, boy. They're all conscious, they're all aware, but they don't have a conscience. None of the animals have conscience. That's why I make men shed blood, because they don't feel there's a consequence. So that's why it did towards us. If they knew what they did to us going to happen to them, they would never did it. They would never did it. You understand? So what does that mean? That means that everything that's out here is animal. Because this is our animal side out here. Because we have emotion and stuff, that's out, right? But this here is what governs this. The inner side governs you. Oh, don't do that. Shouldn't do that. That's what's talking to you. See? They don't have that. Yeah, the inner voice, you should be doing this, should be doing that. They don't have that. That's why they keep on doing what they're doing. Now you can give them stuff. That's why they need laws and we don't have laws. We don't need it. Right? We never had that. We didn't have no police force like stuff was home in Africa, but we wasn't killing each other, was we? We was living peaceful and happy. We didn't have no police force. We had no courts and all that kind of stuff. Because we had a conscience. We don't have a conscience to maintain control. You need a force. The force doesn't be under control. So you need a law. You need a law enforcement. Otherwise, they don't go crazy. That's why you need that. You start to understand what's going on, brothers and sisters? I'm trying to get you to see what's happening. That's why I need a law. And they need to keep us under their control because they want us to act like they want us to act. But that's the reason why they have it. They need that. We don't need that. We never needed that. If you go back and look at, we didn't have that, and we wasn't savage like they say either. We have no law enforcement, police, and all that kind of stuff. We didn't need it because we're self-policing. They said the law was in our hearts, but they had to be given the law because they don't have that self-controlling factor, self-awareness. So I thought I'd do it like this, bro. Maybe I can explain a little bit I did yesterday. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. They don't have that. Everything we brought out of us from this realm, out here. We didn't create anything from out here. That's how you know the female wasn't something we pulled out of us because she has a conscience too. That means that shows she's equal. She's part of the God. Otherwise, she would be out here and we'd be she wouldn't. But she is. Okay? So we'd have to have law enforcement on her. And see, that's why they're going to suffer a C-bomb over in the Middle East. Because they impressing her when she wants her to be oppressed. But that's no story altogether. That's what I'm saying. That's a proof right there. Because she has conscience. Or everything else we born in existence don't have it because it came from out of here. She came out of here. So she's half of this. Not half of it, but she's this. She is different but equal. It's another way of looking at it. Okay, let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, I was going to talk about this, but these are 5 pillars right here. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm going to get back to this. Okay, let me go ahead and play this, brothers and sisters.
'82. And when the word comes to pass,
okay, I just read it. I don't know what happened to the sound. Do disbelief not realize that heaven and earth were one, like I just told you? One mass, we split apart. Everything living from everything, right? It came from us. Okay. Move on, brothers and sisters.
'82. And when the word comes to pass against them, we shall bring forth for them a beast from the earth that will speak to them, because people did not believe in our messages.
That's why the Quran and the Bible calls them beasts. Because they're not human. They're beasts. They don't have self, they don't make them shed blood. They do all wicked evil because they don't have a conscience. That's the difference between human and beast. Beasts don't have conscience. They don't have conscience. Otherwise, they would be doing wicked, all the evil stuff they do, because they would realize, hey man, the conscience would stop them. If it did stop them, right, they'd be afraid of the consequence. Only time they're afraid of consequence is when they stuck their finger in the fire. Oh, okay, I ain't do that again. Right? They have to beat them or everyone. Oh, I don't want that beating again. But it's not in their nature. You understand what I'm saying? So you can, just like that law enforcement. Law enforcement remind them, if you do this, well, you got to keep reminding them. That's what law enforcement is there for. Remind them and then do. If you do this, you're going to go to jail. If you do this, you don't get shot. You do this. Do that to us. Remind them. And if they do it, beat them down or whatever. Because they need that. That's why you have to give them the law. I keep sending prophets to them and say, look, the conscience come from the outside. Control it from the outside. We're self-controlled. We're disciplined, and they're not. There's another way to look. They're not disciplined. You see, that whole discipline is falling apart right now. And discipline times energy equals power. They're losing their power because they're just, now they want to be transgender, they want to be LGB, and they want all this stuff, right? And anybody, and if you watch these ads on TV, boys, it's remarkable. Every ad is about, I got ABC, I got YGMG, I got SHIT, I got all kinds of shit, right? Is there anybody healthy in this country? Remember, they don't put ads in. There got to be thousands of people that suffer from this thing because they ain't going to put it out there and make something for one person. They want to make money. So maybe tens of thousands of people affected with this, whatever they got. I'm 76 years old. And I'm good. They keep, and every time, insurance comes, I go see a doctor. Every time I go there, oh man, they don't mean, all I got to do is And then they get mad. I tell them I ain't taking that stuff. They don't argue with me about it. And long short, I had a doctor a while back, right? He said, man, you in good shape for, I was about 70, 72, something around that time. You're in good shape for that age and everything. And he tell me, right, everything's cool, right? And I guess I have to go to about 6, 7 months, right? He's, checking, and little this, that, right? And then I told myself one day, I told him, I eat 1 meal a day. Now, usually my appointments are 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes at the most, right? I do an hour trying to convince me that that's the wrong thing, man. That's wrong to do that. He's got finished telling me, man, how good shape I am. After I eat 1 meal a day, that guy went off. He went off. I'm telling you, he told me on an hour, convincing me that I should be eating 1 meal a day. That's not good for me. 1 meal a day, brothers and sisters. I'm a living proof. I listened to Elijah Muhammad. Like I said, I came to Elijah when I was 21 years old, 1970. Next, August 21st, 1970, right? I was 21 years old. Exactly to the day, 7 years from my father passed. He died August 21st, 63. 7 days to the day. They said nobody ever got as fast as that. That's not found. My father was processing. I didn't know. He passed. I didn't know. He told me, "Are you doing the same your father was doing?" Whatever. I knew things were changing because we stopped eating all that pork and stuff before he passed. I knew something was changing, right? Because I knew he used to call me boy. My slave name was Thomas, right? Thomas. What? Oh man. And I was like his taster. Right? But he cooked this stuff. I mean, there was nothing on that pork that he didn't eat. I don't know if you heard of pig brains. They mixed with egg. Oh, come on, oh, man. When he called me like that, man, I said, "Oh man, I want to run." I didn't want none of that. I didn't know about pork. I knew it was bad. I didn't want to eat that stuff, right? Oh boy, right? And then all of a sudden, I know we stopped eating that pork, and I said, "You know what's going on?" Then he passed away. But I know he took me to a temple. He took me there. I didn't know what it was for. We lived actually a block away from it. Fairmont Avenue Temple was a block away. I think a thing called South Orange Avenue or something like that, College Grove. I forget the name of that street now. It's been years. But he took me in there. I remember going there. I remember the minister James Shabazz was the minister. And they had this brother, young brother, and I remember him saying the War of Armageddon would be in the 1970s. So Elijah Muhammad play. He said that too. Don't talk about that one. Might. That's what he said. I remember that. I didn't know about Muslim. All I know is I went there. I didn't know about Islam and about Elijah Muhammad. I know that my father took me there. I remember the brother saying that. That's the last time I went there. I didn't know my father was processed. I didn't know any of that. And when I told my aunt, "Oh, yeah, your father was doing that same old stuff," then I knew what's going on. Okay. They're beasts. That's what I call mankind. The beast. And you are what your father are because that's father the seed. Farrakhan already said his father is, he tries to play it down. Jamaican. Jamaican is your nationality, not your ethnicity. We got him on record saying his father is a white Caucasian Portuguese Jew. That means his father's a white Caucasian Portuguese Jew who claimed he's raped his mother. You got two stories on that one. Anyway, that would mean he sees his father, not see Abraham. That means he's a black Caucasian Jew. He's a beast. That's why I love the devil so much. Oh, I don't want to leave America. I love America. I want to make America good. Call God a liar. Because he's not going back because he can't. He's not Abraham's seed. He hates it. What would you do? He hates the covenant. He knows who he is. He knows her. Okay, say for instance, you look white, but you knew you was black. And everybody else knew it. And somehow you got control of Ku Klux Klan. Well, what would you be doing? See what I'm saying? How would you react? Do you have control of it? Don't call niggas no more. I mean, that's bad publicity, man. Let's just try to update it, grade it, so so we have more social cohesion or whatever. See what I'm saying? Don't call devils anymore. You know what I'm saying? Move on, brothers and sisters.
One. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. 2. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. 3. Without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. 4. Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. 5. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. 6. For of this sort are they which creep into houses, and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with divers lusts. 7. Ever learning, and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. 8. Now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth, men of corrupt minds, reprobate concerning the faith. 9. But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs also was.
What happened there, bro? Says, let me, that the right recording? Let me just check that out.
One. This know also,
Excuse me, Bombs. I'm playing. Bombs, I'm playing this again.
1. This know also, that in the last
Okay, where's that come from?
no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs also was.
Where did that come from?
Were able to come to the knowledge of the truth. 8 Now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses.
Okay, well, pick up something I don't know where it came from. Anyways, move on.
Eighty two. 1. This know also. One. This know also, that in the last days
Somehow my audio got messed up, so I just bypassed that. I'll just read it. Well, it's just referring to God made God is the wild beast. I'll leave it there, brothers and sisters. I'm not going to read it. I don't know what happened there.
1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. 2. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. 3. Without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. 4. Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. 5. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. 6. For of this sort are they which creep into houses, and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with divers lusts. 7. Ever learning, and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. 8. Now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth, men of corrupt minds, reprobate concerning the faith. 9. But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs also was.
You're just saying, right? Right. It said they're the form of godliness. That means they would lack in the foul form, but not in the power of it. So it said the devils, they would have a form. Like, as we get close and close to us, right? Because I said we start with amoebas, or small things. It got more complicated plant life, right? Insects, fish, so forth, and mammals, right? Then you got to the apes, and they look more and more like us, right? Until we get to like the gorillas, they look much like us, right? And then the last one was the devils, mankind. That's what I call them, kind of a man. But they're still beasts. And so they have that form of us, but denying the power thereof. And so these people down here says they that all that boat that stuff they're doing lying, like Ishmael and all them, said it's gonna be clear to everybody in a minute. But anybody pay attention to this, it's already clear to them, but it's clear to everybody how stupid they were and their ignorance and their lies they were telling. It's gonna be totally clear because this is a great light. It says they're sitting dark, seeing a great light. That means they're sitting in darkness right now. I can't put them in darkness. See the great light. It means everything's gonna be exposed. Because Farrakhan not exposed, all this philosophy and stuff. That stuff makes any sense. And then it doesn't add up. Let me move on.
'82. And when the word comes to pass against them, we shall bring forth for them a beast from the earth that will speak to them, because people did not believe in our messages.
Yeah, it says we're a beast. Speaking beast. That's them. They're the only speaking beast that you know of. You know any out there speaks? It'd be a beast that will speak to us. It'd be like a beast that human form, but can speak. And it says, because people not being messages, we're talking about mostly that Elijah follows it, and they're following his fool. Because they're not believing Elijah's messages. If you just read what Elijah Muhammad said, he's totally against everything Elijah Muhammad said. Totally against it. That's what's talking about there, but let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, so now we'll get to the main. Right. I want to talk about C-bomb. Now I'm just going to talk this thing through, brothers and sisters. See, now we have conscience. Means there are now of consequence. We have fear of consequence. We don't do things because we're careful. We want to come back on us. What goes around comes around. We put your soul, karma. See, we believe in that stuff. They don't. Because C-bomb, consequence bomb. Now, how do you build a consequence bomb? Okay, what happens is that, remember, you can dam up consequence. You can dam it up, but you can't stop it. Right? So you build a dam and the water, right? You're holding the water up, but the pressure is building up. You build the pressure is building up. As well, it's going to break that dam down. Okay? Then the water's going to go forward. So you can slow it. You can dam it. So what's happening is, if somebody punches you in the face and you don't punch him back, well, you still got the force in you. That force is in you now. That force is in you. Whether you heal or not, it's force still in you because now you have to take energy to heal it, whatever. Trade do it every day for a year. A pound of force every year for a year. In the face, you don't do anything. That's 360 pounds of force that you've absorbed. Based on law of consequence, right? You can retaliate, right? What if you retaliate all at once? That means instead of hitting them with 1 pound of force every day for hit them one time, 360 pounds all at one time. See what's devastating? That's a bomb. That's how you make a C-bomb. That's why the angel was told to submit to Adam. Man was going to abuse them, right? Afflict them, submit. Don't fight back. And they said they could. How long would they be able to do that? Would they be able to hold up 400 years? It would be taking more than 400 years. 400 years, They explode. You can't take it anymore, then you explode. But it says Babylon will go in one day. That means you're going to hit them 40 years of what they've done to you, hit them back in one day. They can't survive that. Because when you have consequence, every action has opposite or equal reaction. That means the reaction destroys the action, destroys it. So it's neutralized. That's the most powerful, because you can't stop it. You can't stop consequence. It's impossible. It's the most powerful bomb in the whole world. Powerful atomic bomb. Atomic bomb blows up stuff and everything else, but this destroys, has GPS on it. Every action, opposite or equal reaction. And so right now, right, we created a C-bomb by submitting, but they fueled it. They made it as powerful as it is. They fueled it. Every time they hit it, they fueled it. Because you reap what you sow. So every time you can hit me, I'll hit you back. That means you're fueling your destruction. Because that's what's happening to God's right now. What they're doing right now, when this war resumes, it's going to bounce back on them. That's right. It's going to bounce back on them. They're fueling it. See? Because they don't think it's going to be, if they knew there was a consequence for it, they would be doing what they're doing over there right now. They don't feel there's a consequence. It says there's no fear of God before their eyes. They mean no fear of consequence. Or they would be doing what they do over there. If they knew what they're doing over there is going to happen back when they wouldn't do it. They don't have any fear of consequence. They're aware. They just don't have that inner awareness, that conscience. They're aware of their awareness. You understand? I try to explain it as simple as possible. That's going on. And so now that's why it says, who's going to destroy Babylon? Who? We are. Because it says, do unto them as done to you. So that means every option reaction. So the people they did it to, they're the ones going to retaliate. And in one day, they're going to drop 40 pounds on 40 years on one day. And they can't handle that. All in one day. That's what destroyed me. I told you it's all mathematics. We understand that. That's how you make a C-bomb. Now you got a C-bomb going over there in Arabia because they've been oppressing those women. And when it blows up over there, there's going to be big results to the females. They've been storing all that for all this, you know. But then the jinn, they said, we ain't going to do it. So every time Adam do something, they're going to fight Adam right back. So they ain't building on. There's no bomb there. It's just constant fighting. And that's, so how do you know who the jinn are? Because everybody submit to Adam to some extent. Because all the nations going to come and take their revenge on Gog and Magog, right? Because they have took a lot of shit from them over the years. But we got the biggest bomb. See? Says that America be hit by, well, they all gonna get their piece, but we don't get the biggest because we took it for a whole thing for 100 years. So China's gonna get them back. After, you know what I'm saying? Asia, India. God can make. So they small C-bombs with them, but we got the big one. Now it's going to affect them, but it's on all the nations. Because all the nations have a hand in doing some shit to us, all of them. So we got super C-bomb. They got smaller ones directed towards America. And now it's time those bombs could be ignited. As soon as that war resume, false Israel's going, America's going right behind it. False Israel, right now, they're gonna suffer. What they're doing right now, they're gonna suffer back on them. You reap what you sow. But see, they're beasts, so they don't recognize consequence. They don't have a conscience. So they're doing what they're doing. They don't realize what they did. They wouldn't. If they knew what they're doing to them was happening to them, they wouldn't do it. If America knew all the shit they'd done to everybody else was happening, they wouldn't do it. That means they don't have a conscience. You understand? Say beast. None of the beasts have conscience. Not one beast out there have a conscience. Lions, bears, whatever, they don't have a conscience. But they're aware of everything. They don't have a conscience. So that's our bomb. We got it. You got that bomb. You got the most powerful. The point is, that bomb can explode outward or it can implode inward. And they're trying to get you to implode inward. That's what Farrakhan doing. He said, no, see, because implode outward, that means you're going to implode on the people that did this to you. That's, But if they can trick you to blow inward on yourself, that's what they've been doing, basically. Have you remember him beating himself? It's mine. Took his mind for his beating himself. See? It's rumbling inside. It has exploded. It went to explosion. Destroy yourself, because we only people can destroy us is ourselves. That's what Farrakhan doing. He's sent to do that. They tell you, oh, don't explode outward, right? Remember, he don't want to blow up the devils. They ain't devils anymore. They ain't your enemy. See? They don't explode on them. We love America. We're going to protect America. You the problem. You're sinful. God's going to get you. It's in your mind. Scientology. Focus on yourself. Don't explode out there. Explode on yourself. You get it? They're trying to get you to explode inward. But they don't want to let you go. Because, I'm not going to get my other part, I don't think. The thing is that subconscious is also the source of creativity. They're not creative, we are. Because you ask yourself, if they're so creative, like they say, how come all the creativity has come out of America, not Europe, not Russia, not Germany, not even China? They duplicate, but they haven't no creativity. Music is a good example. Music, it has to be creative to create music, and the only music on the planet that's moving anybody is our music. That came from us. That's creative. That's an example right there. That's why Pharaoh didn't want to let us go. God told him, let them go, or they're gonna blow up in your house. Get them out of your house. What's the character of the explosion? Those plagues. That's the way. That's the nature of the explosion. So get them out. They're gonna blow up on you. God tried to tell him, but they said, "Well, we let them go, man. We're gonna be broke." Because remember, they left. It said they would take all the gold and silver from Egypt and by plundering them. We'd go on silver. So if we left, they would be back in the caves again, because they were creativity, and we take creativity with us. It's much more to it than that. You understand? So they said no. So they said, well, if we got two choices. We can't let them go. So let's try to contain them. Send Farrakhan and get them implode. If they explode, they implode. So they don't, if that don't work, just get rid of them. And so Farrakhan's slipping now. He's almost incontinent. Well, he is incontinent now. He's putting the shit in the back, but he's incontinent right now. Because you ask yourself a question. See, they're so stupid over there. They showed this picture Sunday about, well, this is him and his wife's 70th anniversary, something like that there. Right? They show pictures, old pictures. Now, Farrakhan will be quiet, but if he's okay, like they said, then why didn't they take a photograph of him like he is right now? They have to just prop him up, him and his wife. If he's okay, and show that. They didn't show that. They show the old stuff because he's all fucked up right now. And he's gone. He's on his way out, but he ain't going out just yet. He won't go out for a few more days. He won't go out. This war starts. It's more to it than that. I told him years ago. He told me he's going to go out. I said, me, I want to go out. I said, I know exactly where he's going out, right? And approximately when. You understand? He would show the picture of him. I said, why did they show a picture of him? He got to talk. He said, God told him to be quiet. He didn't tell him to be invisible. So show a picture of him and his wife having a cake or something. Recent one. They show all old stuff. Because he has an emotional connection to him, not intellectual. An emotional connection, it's easy to break an emotional connection like weather changes. So they see him the way he is right now, all of a sudden the emotional connection breaks and then they ain't making no money anymore. Okay, let's move on with that, brothers and sisters. Now I'm talking about a P-bomb. That's your bomb. So you got a C-bomb. You already get, nobody. Once you get your mind back, Nobody can stand before you. So see the great army. You want to kick ass, and nobody can stand for you. The most powerful army in you, because you got consequence was the most powerful force in the universe. And nobody, you can't fight against consequence. And then you got the P bomb. What's that bomb? That's a universal bomb, because momentum in heaven and earth will come all of a sudden. Right? So every time, and then the universe is contracting, so it says every 50 years, you get an energy wave. It's absorbed by the earth, and suddenly, earth, and you energize because it comes all of a sudden. And you can prove that because we got first one around the 1860s. I'm not going into a lot of detail, but we start energized, and we affect the atmosphere. We affect the atmosphere because where's music? Music is affecting the atmosphere. That's what it is. And so what music dominates the atmosphere? Blues. We had the blues in 1860. That's when it came out. Look it up. 50 years later, right? Well, it was niggas. Then 50 years later, now we got jazz. Now we color people. We start thinking about Africa and stuff like that, learning about that kind of stuff. Is that a coincidence? And then what? Another 50 years later, right? Motown, soul. Now you got afros. You ain't color people no more. You're black. See? And each one of them had a war associated with it. Conflict. Civil War. They call it the green. I think they call it green, the red sun or whatever. 1919. Then you got civil rights. And then now we at the 50-year mark here. And each one started a spark. Be energized. But this time, the music is going to be victory. I don't know the name of what they're going to call it. But it's going to be a new music type, energizing, and we going home. The demon standing, that's another story. I can talk about that when I get to that. Get back to seasons. That's the pressure bomb. And they was only be able to rule us because we had low energy. Energy was low. We got energy deprivation. But now we're coming out of that, right? And so the pressure builds. Remember I said pressure builds? The temperature. Things move fast. That's pressure. That's collisions. But we Lamborghinis. We made it for solid steel. They were right and big because they didn't need much energy. That's why they was able to rule. So you collide, what happens? Those Volkswagen Beetles, man, they can't. They collide with a Lamborghini. They might have a bump, but they get crushed. That's a pressure bomb. On top of that, temperature goes faster and faster and faster. So now times move so fast they can't keep up with it. Their brain's too small. They can't keep. That's why they want to attack everybody. They want to fight. They want to take this because they lose control because times move too fast for them. The brain can't keep up with it. Every time you never see. I mean, to us, it don't mean to them. It's like can't keep up with stuff. It says when this war started, it said they people his message is gonna be breaking, jumping on themselves, Trump man, we just lost Chicago. Oh Trump man, we just got hit with a bomb over here. Oh Trump, we just lost this aircraft carrier. Oh Trump, Great Britain's got blown up. They said he gonna have it. Just like that, before he gets fight, that's what it's going to be. Because they can't keep up with it. They ain't moving so fast. That's the pressure bomb. That's universal. They can't stop that either. They have to stop that, and that's in our favor. Because more energy. Because before we didn't have enough energy, they had Volkswagen Beetles. They could run around town. Same much energy we had, but it didn't cost that much for operated Volkswagen Beetles. We had a Lamborghini, so we couldn't afford to gas anything. We sat in the garage. We couldn't do anything. But now we can get out in the street, move around, and if it collision between the two, you know what's going to happen. I'm just giving you the short version, right? They can't stop that one either. Consequence. What about the weather bomb? I already heard about music, but the universe contracts. That means more energy is coming back. That means the Earth's going to start getting heated, energized. Global warming. Global warming is bad for them because they're winter people. The global warming is good for us. We spring people. So they don't want global warming. They don't want to get warm because that destroys their whole civilization. But that's good for us. They got us thinking wrong too. No, that's good for us. See? They can't stop either because the season change. It was when we was on, they had us on, I thought we was summer people. We couldn't, we was freezing everything. Oh, man, it's looking up. But they was winter people, man. They was moving, grooving. But now spring is coming in. It's getting hot. See? Because energy deprivation means there wasn't much energy here, so you have polar caps, all the ice melts, ice all over those two continents there. North, South Pole, they're covering two continents. Large continents, the biggest this continent here. Yards of ice. Because you got to cool down. You got deserts, less water because it cooled down. So now but they build a civilization on this. So when the water starts melting, that means the water rises. That means because most of these major cities are on the coast, right? It's going to drown them, wipe them out. We don't care. So there'll be a whole new landscape and everything else. We can have more water. All the desert's going to be gone. Right? You got plenty of food. You ain't got to farm anymore. That's going to break. Well, they won't even be around for the capital. That kind of stuff is be gone. They're energized. And you're energized. So now you come back to your youth again. So keep telling you, if you're not old, you're just wilting. You take a plant, you don't give enough nutrition and sunlight, it's going to wilt. It's not old. But as soon as you turn energy back on, boom, it comes right back like a lot of you are going to end up just like that. You're going to come back to your youth. Me, it's going to take me another 50 years, another way for it. You see the point? So you got two bombs right there. They can't stop either one. Then you got the weather bomb. You notice all this so-called bad they're telling me? If you notice, it don't seem to be hitting black folks. It seems to be like GPS on the white folks. Because you controlling the weather, you don't know it. I'm not going to get into details about that, brothers and sisters, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit. There's three bombs right there. You're invincible. All you got to do is get your mind back. Nothing they can do to you. Just get you destroy yourself. They're going to try to kill us when they say everything else fails. They don't get some of you. Right? Then you got the mind bomb. Mind bomb and technological bomb. See, Master From how got that technological bomb, that plane, they can't do nothing with it. And the mind bomb, two working together. The angel. This truth, this light blowing away this darkness. They can't stop either one. These are your weapons. You just gotta get your mind back. You see them. You're invincible. There's none got a goddamn thing they can do to you. Get your mind back. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. This is yours. You the God, maker, owner, creator, planets, God, universe. That bullshit Farrakhan talking about, because he's one of them. All those bombs, there's nothing they can do. They can't stop it. They're going crazy right now, trying to control. God said, why would the nations imagine a vain thing? A vain thing. They're going to try to make a turkey blame for that. But they can't stop any of that. None of it. They have to stop the universe. They have to go back in time and stop doing what they did to us. That stop the consequence bomb. They have to stop the universe contracting, stop the pressure bomb. Right? They have to stop the seasons, stop the weather bomb. They have to stop Master Muhammad, stop that technical bomb. Right? And stop you from getting your mind back. The angel. They can't touch the angel either. Remember, it's a book they couldn't touch. Get the point, brothers and sisters? Let's move on. Watch this. Hope you understand, brother and sister. That's it. See, we took it for 40 years, built it up. Like Muhammad said, no, they're your enemy. We was attacking ourselves, beating ourselves, calling ourselves niggas and everything else. No. The Pharaoh comes and said, no, they ain't the enemy, they ain't the devils. It's you. You're wicked. Fought it back in towards and try to get us implode. And Suleiman come and knock him out. The Lord would consume his spirit's mouth and destroy the bright was coming. Boom. Have you realize your enemy is and everything else, and then you explode. Bam. 1 year. Hit Babylon 1 year. Bam. Sure. That's exactly what's happening, bro, sister. You got that C-bomb. I'm trying to get you to implode. Oh, they ain't devils anymore. This is this. You're the wicked. It's your problem. You know. Hope you understand, bro. I'm gonna leave it there, bro, sisters. Hope you understand. So tomorrow I'll deal with another subject. Like I said, I was gonna deal with C-bomb. All those bombs, brothers and sisters. Again, the sisters, they C-bomb too. Theirs are more powerful than ours because they took more than we took. And we don't want the sisters to turn back on us. So be careful, brothers and sisters. We don't want sisters turning back on us because we ain't been treating them right. We understand what Master was, mine's messed up. When sister, if you act you got some damn sense, sisters understand that too. They love you. But you know, there's a thin line between love and hate. See? Sisters love us because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. They put their lives on the line because the devils wouldn't even allow us having any touch our women. They was raping them, we couldn't touch them. And they put their life, they put their life on. There's a whole movie about that. I think called The Journey of August King. Where this guy was raping his own, he raped this black woman, slave. Then he had a daughter, he wanted to rape the daughter too. She escaped. He thought, and he was, you know, he every time we tried to find her, if he ran to a black person, he thought they saw her. He wanted, he would kill him because he thought, you touched her because he wanted nobody to touch her. He wanted to rape her and wanted nobody. That's what he worked. Remember that movie in Django? He had to kill another nigga for the movie just to be sleep one night for a woman to get a beer. Let us touch our own women. In the fields, they have them moving out there naked. They're there, picking cotton. So they can jump off the horse and do her. And they were so cruel and so wicked, no conscience. And she still had to be picking cotton while they was doing her. Yeah, nigga, don't stop picking that cotton. We couldn't do anything. We had to sit and watch. And Sister had rebelled. In another case, he'd tell you come over and hold her legs down and stuff like, man, these people are sick. You be fist bumping all that stuff with them, and you may be one of them. You understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? That's the deal. So it's just stuff more than we did. So their C-bomb is more powerful than ours. See? When they understand our situation. Where, you know, they was funny. They understand our situation. We couldn't do anything. But now that we can do something, we don't do nothing. And they see you out there fist bumping and all that with them, and then loving them and everything. And what you think they're gonna do to you? They're gonna drop that C-bomb on your ass. I'm warning you, brothers. And they got every right to do it. Every right to do it. After 2020, you're not in the devil's authority anymore. I'm going night and day. Oh. Stand with these sisters. Right? So understand we with them. Because they powerful. We don't want them to blow up against us. They powerful. You're more powerful than you realize. If you understand C-bombs, think about it. They have a bigger bomb than we do. So we went there behind the work along with us. Work with us, not against us. Hope you understand that, bro. Let's move on. I'm not going to explain this right now. I'm just moving on, brothers and sisters. This is about to happen. We're about to kick them out. And this going to happen in a few more days. This war will resume. Also, it's going to be kicked out, be under siege. America and Britain's going to be thrown out of the Middle East. That's going to be a true sign. Right now, we're under this sign. It's a sign of oppression, a sign of disunity, because we think they see Abraham, so therefore we don't have a unifying sign. And people that have vision perish. We don't have a vision. What vision is Farrakhan giving? He's not giving you one. Silas, all these people called Solomon, no vision. That's our true vision. That's why I message coming to your true vision. So once falsehood goes down, you realize you true see Abraham. That's a unifying vision. They put together, seeing the great army. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum. You understand? History of the cross, known by their works. What's the history of the cross? 500-year history of the cross. Murder, rape, destruction, deception, enslavement, burning, terrorizing. To maintain a slavery system, you must terrorize the people 24/7. They terrorize people from Africa and America for 400 years. Constant terror, 24/7. Rape, murder. In the name of Jesus. This was Christians, not Buddhists, not Hindus. Christians, in the name of Jesus, when they said Jesus cursed black people, they call them Ham, cursed them to be slaves and persecuted forever. In the name of Jesus, raped our women incessantly, pissed in our mouths, made us eat shit. And they took and tried to clean up, not clean it up, but make it look more fashionable, I guess, by calling it chitlins. That's after slavery, of course, after so-called slavery. Because what was endured was not slavery. Look up slavery. Look up slavery. It does include murder, rape, terror. This is a Holocaust. And then now they try to downplay it. Oh, that was 400 years ago. No, it wasn't 400 years ago. I don't care if it was a million years ago. It was 400 years ago. It lasts for 400 years. And it's enduring today. They took everything away from the slaves, everything. Their name, their culture, their families, their religion, their minds, everything. Fed their children to alligators as alligator bait. And then they talk about what's going on in Gaza when they did 1,000 times worse. What's going over in Gaza now is simply just a miniature version of what they did. What they did was far worse than what's going on in Gaza. Gaza's bad. It's genocide. What they did was far worse and much longer. That's the legacy of Christianity. Murder, rape, disease. They wiped out the native population with genocide and disease. Smallpox blankets, knowing they was full with disease. Herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea from sleep with animals. So-called common cold was not common. Didn't exist here on this side of the world until they brought it here. Murder, rape. When they was raping out women, they had a cross hanging from their neck. And again, they taught black and this was God's will. God's will. The enslavement of our people. And they continue on even today. That's the legacy of Christianity, the cross. So where's your rap sheet? Every time they arrest one of our people, your rap sheet. What's your rap sheet? How are you going to judge people for murder when you're guilty of murder beyond imagination for hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Theft. You stole this land and murdered its people. And you crushed the native people here. When the braves would go out hunting, you would come into the camps like cowards and kill the women and smash the children's brains out on the hooves of your horses. This is the legacy of Christianity. That's the legacy of it. The question is, if instead of Columbus coming here, Dracula came here, Beelzebub, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Satan, and they all came instead of Columbus. What could they have done that Columbus and those that followed him did? Satan is the God of this world. That's the God they're serving. They have known him by their works. What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? Where's the works of Christianity? Evil, deception, mischief, bloodshedding. It goes on today. And what's going on in Gaza, just reflection and microcosm of what was done here in America for hundreds of years. Raped out women incessantly. They would even rape while they was out in the fields picking cotton. They would jump off their horse and tell them to bend over and rape them. And tell them to keep picking cotton while they was doing it. This is the kind of stuff that they would do. Make one slave defecate in the slave and slave up in the mouth of another slave, and then bound it up so they couldn't spit it out for 7 days. That's the legacy of slavery. You did it all in the name of Jesus. That's a legacy of slavery. Legacy of slavery. 40 years plus. Legacy of Christianity. Legacy of the cross. That's the legacy. That's the true legacy. So whose works are those? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? The legacy of the cross. Where's your rap sheet, America? Gog? Where's your rap sheet, Magog? Britain? Where's your mateship? Where's your rap sheet? Antichrist, false Israel? Where's your rap sheet? Then they colonized Africa. They're stealing for ripping off everyone. That's the legacy of Christianity. They've been ruling for over 500 years. And now, the threat of nuclear war to finish off everything. That's a legacy of Christianity in the name of your Jesus.
make it. Surely you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. The heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return. With their hands stretched out towards that ship and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our subjection to their will. You and I. Turning your face from your own-native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel? Acting such. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you are free. Remember that.
make it. Surely you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. What the heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Put it back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our past hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves, bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our in subjection to their will. You and I, turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you were free. Remember that.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Veteran of Covenant. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's been a year now, and We're finally home after 40 years in Arabia. I'm reporting to you from Arabia. Finally home after 40 years. Right? And so we've been here a year now. When there was an agreement made, a former slave master, he said, we had a choice. Stay here or leave. Right? So we chose our inheritance, Arabia. So we left. And half the original people decided they wanted to give up their inheritance and trade it for a place in America in reconciliation with their former slave master. That's their choice. They chose, said, we don't want to go over to Arabia. We don't go to where it's sand and all that stuff. We want to stay here in America. We've been here all our lives, been here 40 years, born here, right? And we can make peace with our slave master. Okay, so they decided to stay. And so after a year, right, we're getting reports of how things are going over there. And it doesn't sound too good. How things are going over in America with their reparations. Because they was given, they got 6 states, I believe. Yeah, see? Yeah. Yeah, they got those 6 states right there. That's what Farrakhan told them. They was listening to Farrakhan. Farrakhan promised them, they stay there, 6 states, right? Had their own land. And they can make reconciliation with the former slave master. They're not devils. They're not devils. They're human beings. They just had a rough, they were just, did some things wrong, but now they're gonna make amends and make reparations. So 6 states, and in addition to that, they gave everybody $1 million. Everybody stayed $1 million. Okay? Say, thank you, Farrakhan. They're so happy. Thank you, Farrakhan. Thank you, Farrakhan. Man, you got 6 states. That's what you promised us. We got 6 states. They're thanking you. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? And this was a year ago. They got the 6 states. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? Everybody got $1 million. Everybody $1 million. And they're rejoicing. Oh man, they're so happy. Hey, we made it. We got America, man. We got reconciliation for a master. We got 6 states. Everybody got $1 million. We're all rich. That was a year ago when we left. Okay, so we're in Arabia. They're still back there in America. And now we're getting reports a year later. This was the way it was a year ago, man. They were so happy. They were so happy. Right? And now we get reports of what's going on right now. Let's see. Oops, it says a power failure. Great power failure in those 6 states. Power failure. And just those 6 states. Right? So, and now they have big and massive. They came asking to turn the power. Well, why can't they do it? Oh, Farrakhan didn't train anybody. He was telling you about 6 states, but he never prepared you for them. So nobody knows how to do it. How to turn the power grid back on. So now he's begging, man, master, can you come and turn this thing back on for us? I mean, you would think that if he told him 6 states to promise him that he would have prepared him for it, right? Their schools and education, whatever they needed for that. But now I guess they didn't, because they said over there now he's begging the former master to come and turn the power back on. And then what? I mean, this is all that's happening now. I mean, I'm getting these imports in now. A year later, it's like they're coming in every hour. Power grid failure, right? Then say, oops, crop failure. All of a sudden, there's no. They say, they looked at the farmers when they done it. Farmers said, oh. So then they asked master, what's happening here? How come you know? Right? Our crop. They found that the land they gave them wasn't that fertile. A year later, nothing's growing. Crop failure. And now they master, what's happening here? Right? And then, I mean, all these things, every hour that's coming in, right? And then they look, you know, and they had, you know, a year ago they had plenty of food on the shelves, right? And now, they look there now and all the food's gone. It's gone. She said, what am I going to do here? Food's gone. The house is empty. So he said, Master, we need some food. Well, how come you can't put your own food? I mean, you want your own country. You got your own states. That's your country. Then you run it. What are you calling us for? Right? So they've been praying. And then, oops, no fuel. There's master, no fuel there. Well, you got to buy your fuel. You got to produce your own fuel. What you calling us for? You got your own 6 states now. What you calling us for? Go and get some fuel. You got money, right? You got your own states. So you got to get your own. What you calling us for? You said you wanted your own, so now you got it. And you got your reparations, so we don't owe you anything anymore. We don't owe you anything anymore, so what you calling us for? We don't owe you anything. You said you agreed to 6 states and $1 million per person. You took that instead of your inheritance, what you call the Abrahamic Covenant, Arabia. You know, your brothers and sisters, they left, they took, that was offered to them, they took it. And you said, no, I want this instead. So now you got it. So what you calling us for? Oh, no communications. Oh, man. No communications, right? No medical facilities. So what's going on, Master? Wait a minute, hold on. That's you. What you calling us for? That's yours. You got to handle that stuff. You want us to handle it for you? You want independence, now you have it. I mean, wow, this stuff is coming every hour, man. Instead of like a year, they was celebrating. And now they crying, begging the master, hey, look at all these problems here. I said, wait a minute, that's yours. Where'd you come about your problems? You have to work those out. Right? No transportation, I mean, no planes, or nowhere. We don't know about fly the planes and drive the trucks and the boats and stuff and to go and get this stuff. Well, what you done that for? You wanted this, you got it. So go ahead and get to train your own pilots, build your own planes, build your own boats and right? You see what I'm saying? Transportation, build your own trucks. What you calling for? Yeah, Master, we see this. You said you wanted 6 states, you got it. You want $1 million per person. That was the reparations. So then if you didn't pay people to take care of this, how's that our problem? You're independent now. You're really free now. Oops, no fuel, the gas station's empty. I can't drive, eh? And no gas. Man, wow. All this stuff happened like for a year. They thought that everything was great, and all of a sudden everything ran out. So I guess what happened? Everything was there when they got it, and then it ran out. They had to, for them to replace the fuel, to get the farms going. So they was left with that stuff. The factory was full. I mean, warehouses full. Then you had to keep They thought that was just going. I guess they thought it was just going to be there, just by itself. They didn't prepare for it. See, and they ain't trained any engineers and scientists and architects and stuff. They ain't, you know, business. They didn't train anybody. So Farrakhan, he told you he's going to get this for you, but he didn't prepare you for it. He didn't get anybody to handle this stuff. So what was that all about? So now he asked the master, hey, don't call on me. You was here, you had it when you was here with me. You said you want independence, you wanted reparations, so you gave it to you. Well, call on your brothers over there. They left, they handled their own business. You said you want to stay here. Right? See? You don't have any professionals or technicians, scientists, doctors, none of that. See? I mean, that's what, you know, because, I mean, if you're going to set reparation, you should be preparing for that, right? So if he was telling you about reparation, you should be preparing for it. If he thought, if he said, God said that's what he's going to get you, so if God told him he's going to get that for you, then he should, like when God told Noah there was a flood coming, to only build an ark, so he started building an ark. And so you should start preparing for the 6 states and the reparations, but apparently you didn't. And so now, it does say, look, hold it. We want total separation. I mean, look, we don't want you to call us no more. We don't want you to call us no more. Because you're wearing us. You want your own country. You got your own land. Right? You got money, $1 million, all this stuff, right? And so now we got to protect your money and everything too? No, you have to create your own money. You have to do all these things, your own wealth, not ours. Right? So we're going to cut you off from that too. That's all economics. So they go and tell it. They tell all the people, and you know, on all the white folks, right? Because all the black folks, now all the black folks is either in Arabia or in those 6 states. That's the solution. You had to be one way or the other. There couldn't be no integration, all that kind of stuff. That's the deal. You just said one or the other. So all the black folks are there, ain't no integration, all that kind of stuff, right? Black folks are there, one or the other, so they're there. So he said, okay, right? So they just say, we're going to take that money because we don't know what y'all doing over there. You have your own money, you have to find your own wealth. So what they do is they tell all the white folks, say, protect your money, right? Transfer your money into gold. Transfer all your dollars into gold. Okay. Now remember, they gave everybody $1 million a piece. So everybody got $1 million a piece, right? And so they transfer it to gold. And then what happens is that what they do is they start just printing money. White folks just start printing money. You understand what that means? That's inflation. Right? Because if you got $1 million of gold, a million ounces of gold, say 1 million ounces of gold, understand this, and you got 1 million certificates, then you say each certificate is worth 1 ounce. If you got 1 million ounces, each certificate is worth 1 ounce. Understand that? If you got 1 million ounces of gold, and you got 1 million certificates, each one of those certificates is worth 1 million. You know, if you want to say trade with the certificates, each one of the certificates is worth 1 ounce of gold. Right? But if you take and print, you say you got 1 million ounces of gold, and you got 1 million certificates, each one. But say you print twice as many certificates, you got 2 million. Well, then each certificate is only worth 50 cents now, because you got to connect that to the gold. Well, you print 4 times, then each one is worth a quarter. So the more you print, the less they worth, because those certificates have to equal what the gold is. You understand? So the more you print money, the less, right? The less they're worth. So if you print twice as much money, right, there's less gold. You understand? So if $1 is worth 1 ounce of gold, which that's right, then if you print double that amount of dollars, then each one's worth half an ounce. You understand? That's what printing money without increasing their wealth does. That's inflation. So what happens is they keep printing. They get down to where $100 is worth a penny. But see, that doesn't affect their people. They told to protect their money because they transfer their money to gold. So gold still has its value. It's just the dollars don't. It still got the same amount of gold. But the dollars, they get down to a penny. So you can't buy it. You had $1 million, now your $1 million worth of $5. That's all it's worth. $1 million. Hardly worth anything. Oh, what about you? Hey, that's our money. You gotta have your own money, control your own wealth. You can't keep coming at us what you're doing. And you think they wouldn't do that? Yeah, you been a Gaza lately? You see what happened to the trees they made with the so-called natives? Kept telling me you had a forked tongue because they kept making trees with them, then they broke the trees. And took their land and genocide and everything else. But no, they wouldn't do that to you. See? Because now you have, your money's worth nothing. They haven't lost anything. Because once that money's worthless, it's no good, right? Then you bury it up, throw it away, it's worth nothing. The people still got gold. And even if they take it, hold on to money, hope to increase again, they just use another different certificate, use another form of money. So it's still worth nothing. That $1 million you had, you was so happy with now, it's probably worth maybe $1. So you can't buy anything with $1. Plus the economy's collapsed because everything is failing, and you don't know how to repair it. You don't know how to build communications. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. You're not an engineer, build a house, you don't know how to do anything because Farrakhan didn't. Right? He didn't prepare you. He told you he'll give you 6 days. He told you, listen to me, right? So now you're broke, and your economy is gone. You have no food, no electricity, no power, anything. Right? It's not their fault. They gave you what you asked for. You saw out your inheritance for that. And then they closed the border. Because you're going to try to get back into America now. We want to come back in, Master. No, we don't want you back in here. We're sorry, we want to come in. No. That's what you chose. You stay there. They closed the border, so you can't get back in here. You can't get back in America, into what you can call your land now. Swaziland or something? Farrakhan. Maybe call it Traveland. Farrakhan. Named after Farrakhan. Right? So they close the borders, you can't. Because now you're hungry and everything else, your money's worthless. Oh God, come back, Master, I'll come back work for you, I'll work for Popeyes, I'll do anything you want. No, remember, now blacks, either they over in Arabia or they in that land. There are no blacks in America, in places, just in that land that you 6 days. And now you're starving, you ain't got no, your money's worthless, nothing works, and they close the border. Right? And then you see Master, you on the phone, you talking to the guy that you kept treating, help you. Hey, we finally got rid of niggas. Finally got rid of them. Finally got rid of them. See on the phone. Yeah, it worked. We sold them no reparations. We sold them that used car. It turned the miles back and everything else, and they bought it. See? They could have had a BMW. They could have had a Lamborghini. They sold that for a BMW that looked good. Damn thing didn't work. And now they're starving, living in tents. Praying. So what? Then what next? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? You told us to take reparations, so we did. But they gave us everything we asked for. What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do? Pray, 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 pray. That's his answer. Pray, pray, pray. That's your reparations. Like Elijah Muhammad said, he had a big picture. We leaving, and blacks staying on the shore, the ones stay behind, and they was whooping their ass. Right? Because they all thought you think they want to give you some land and take care of you? You think they want to do that? And go bankrupt, give everybody $1 million? You know how much that is? If it's 17 million, if it's 17 million times 17 million times a million is like $17 trillion, I think, something like that there. And they're going to do all that for you. They want to get rid of you. So now they've succeeded. Because they closed the border. What you going to do? You want to fight to come out? They closed the border. They got the military around there. They finally got rid of you. No more black problem, no more Negro problem anymore. One group's out of here, another group that's here. They're gone, and our hands are clean. We gave them what they wanted. Well, anything. Okay. God honors contracts. Remember, he honored the contract with Jacob. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to Jacob, when it was Esau's inheritance, and God honored it. Okay, Jacob, it's yours. You're the one. And that's the deal. Because he ain't your friend. Pharaoh ain't your friend. Pray, pray, pray. That's the answer. And this homeland you was promised, you rejected it. So now you got what you asked for. So if they gave you reparations today or tomorrow, how would that scenario not play out like that? Well, they say, okay, you got it. Tell me how the scenario wouldn't play out like that. And tell me why they wouldn't do it. They love you so much, they're going to say, okay, we're going to take care of them. I mean, why should they go out their way to take care of you when you was right here? You was working at Popeyes and living in the get-up on Section 8, all that stuff right here where they... Because they're trying to get rid of that stuff right now. Trump's trying to get rid of all that stuff right now. Because they're closing on you don't realize it. Anyway, that's just, that's what's happening over in America. Wow. Boys come here. Disaster over there. And, I just got a call. Oh, wait, hold on. Really? You serious? Our ambassador just got a call from I don't know what they call them. They call it Conland or something. I forgot what it is. Some name to call it right there. That 6th day. They begged us to come and help. Can they come over here? Can we come and get them? Really? Can we come and get them and bring them? Oh no. Now he went and asked as Master Farad Muhammad, right? He said, no, hell no. We ain't going to get them. And I agree with that. Yeah, the Master said he said, let's call him, and he passed the word to Master Farad Muhammad. Master Muhammad said, send him back. Master, no, we can't come and get you. You made your choice, live with it. Or die, whatever the situation is. Wow. I can't believe that. They actually, right, sent a message over. I don't know how they did. I don't have any communication with it. Somehow they got the information over to him. Said, we please come and get him. Nope. Said, no, tell him no. And don't waste time communicating with us anymore. You got your land. You got your reparations. You got your money. You got Farrakhan as your leader. Yeah, tell him. Talk to him. Let him straighten out for you. He didn't want to sell you the idea. He was a salesman. So you on that idea of reparations. We told you. Right? Suleiman, right? He was the messenger to you, telling you, look, man, let's go home. You said no. You chose not to. Okay, bro, that's a sad story. But I guess that's it. Is that it? Oh, they're not getting more reports on Okay, he says that was Matthew Prophet Muhammad's final decision, and I think they closed communications off from there. So, like I said, brothers and sisters, we got those rides that came in. All that came in today, man. Came in fast. After a whole year, total collapse. Now they begging it. Somebody help them. We can't do it. Maybe Master help you. We won't do it. Assalamu alaikum. Update, brothers and sisters, got another late report in that they said, well, if you want to come and get us, well, we at least send them some food. They begged, said, please send them some food. Master Muhammad said, we got to send them a damn thing, nothing, zero. He said, please just send some food. No, I just got that in. He says, if you can't come and get us, please send us some food. He says, no. He refused. That's the report. I just got the information from the ambassador. He said, they sent that, and he's read to me. He says, no. He said, please, just please send us some food. He said, no way. You made your choice, case closed. Okay. Just got that in, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.